She's polite. She smiles. She talks to you like any other woman might. But something feels different. Not inappropriate. Not blatant, just emotionally charged. She laughs at your jokes, even when they're not that funny. She leans in when she speaks to you, even though there's plenty of space around. She asks you questions, no one else does, and remembers your answers like they matter to her. You tell yourself not to overthink it. After all, she's married. She has a husband, a ring, a whole other life. But deep down, a question lingers in the shadows of your thoughts. Is she into me? This isn't just a fantasy, it's a psychological grey zone, a place where social rules blur and human emotions play by their own code. Because sometimes, when a woman is emotionally unfulfilled, when her needs go unheard, when her desires go unnoticed, she doesn't say a word. She signals quietly, carefully. She tests the waters, not with words but with gestures, timing, eye contact and emotion. And if you miss those signals, you'll walk away confused or worse, manipulated. But if you can see them clearly, you gain insight that most men never develop. Insight that protects you, empowers you, and makes you emotionally untouchable. This is not about chasing forbidden desire, it's about mastering your awareness as a high-value man, so you don't fall for the wrong woman or miss the right one. Because when a married woman secretly likes you, she doesn't confess, she leaves you a trail of invisible breadcrumbs. In this video, we're going to decode them one by one. And once you see them, you'll never unsee them again. Ready? Let's begin. Most men live their lives believing that when a woman is married, she's emotionally off limits, not just physically, but mentally and energetically. They assume her heart is locked behind wedding vows, a shared mortgage, and a diamond ring. But what they fail to realize is this: attraction doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't follow rules. It doesn't care about social titles like husband or wife. Attraction is primal, silent, subtle, and sometimes dangerously real. You see, marriage does not make a woman immune to desire. It doesn't erase her longing to be seen, understood, or deeply felt. In fact, some married women feel more invisible than ever. They smile at dinner tables and post vacation photos, but deep inside they're emotionally starving. They crave connection, attention, validation, and yes, attraction. Not because they're evil, not because they plan to betray, but because they're human. And when that hunger surfaces, it doesn't explode. It whispers. It shows up in sideways glances, sudden compliments, over-explained excuses to talk to, touch to just be near you. You'll notice it in how she laughs too long, how she remembers things no one else does, how she lingers just a little too close when you speak. But here's where most men fail. They either ignore these signs, afraid of crossing a line, or they fall headfirst into the fantasy. Blind to the consequences, but you're different. You're here to understand the psychology, to see through the fog, not to act on every signal, but to know exactly what's happening beneath the surface. Because power, real power, is not found in reacting. It's found in awareness. The kind of awareness that protects your peace, your purpose, and your masculinity. So if you've ever caught yourself wondering, is she just being friendly, or is something deeper going on? This video will give you clarity. We're diving deep into the psychological signs. A married woman is secretly attracted to you. No fluff, no assumptions, just sharp, clear insight backed by behavioral cues, subtle emotional language, and years of evolved your human psychology. Let's decode what she won't say out loud, but what her body, eyes, tone, and timing may already be screaming silently in your direction. Let's begin. Sign number 1. Her eye contact isn't casual. It's deliberate and prolonged. She doesn't just glance. She lingers. There's a quiet hesitation in her gaze, as if she's saying something without words. She might look at you when you're not looking, But the moment your eyes meet, she doesn't flinch or turn away immediately. Instead, she holds it just long enough to create tension. That's not friendly. That's intentional awareness. And if her pupils dilate or her eyes sparkle with life when she sees you, that's nature betraying her inner curiosity. A married woman who's emotionally shut off keeps her gaze neutral, but a woman who's intrigued her eyes can't lie, even if her lips never speak. Sign number 2, she finds excuses to be near you. Subtly, but consistently. She may never say, "I want to be around you," but her body makes that decision for her. She might choose the seat next to you when there are other options. She may walk past you more than necessary or enter a room she knows you're in with a half-justified reason. At work, at social events, even in mundane routines, she orbits you. It's not accidental. Her proximity is her way of keeping you inside her emotional field without violating the rules directly. Sign number 3, her smile is soft, but there's a tension behind it. There's a difference between a polite smile and a smile that flickers because it's holding something back. When she smiles at you, it's not just a quick courtesy, it's personalized. There's a warmth there, but more importantly, there's a trace of nervous energy behind it, almost like she's aware that she's smiling too much and tries to pull it back. That restraint, that oops, I smiled too big moment, that's desire battling her logic. Sign number 4, she remembers small details, things you didn't think mattered. If you mentioned your favourite book, once she brings it up later. If you made an offhand joke, she references it again with a twinkle in her eye. A woman who's emotionally unavailable doesn't store your details, but one who's secretly drawn to you. She files away every subtle piece of information you give her, not just because she's interested, but because you occupy space in her thoughts long after the conversation ends. Sign number 5, she touches her neck hair or lips around you. Subconsciously watch her body language. Does she play with her necklace when talking to you? Does her hand rest near her mouth? Does she twirl her hair or smooth her collarbone? These aren't meaningless gestures. They're primal, involuntary signs of self-soothing and flirtation. A married woman who's in control of herself is composed. But when a woman's body starts sending signals before her mind catches up, it's often a reflection of suppressed attraction leaking through her movements. Sign number 6, her emotional tone shifts. When you're around, you notice it in her voice, a slight softness, or maybe she laughs. More seems lighter or even becomes overly formal to overcompensate. Either way, there's a change. She doesn't act like this around other men. You bring something out of her, and she tries to balance between protecting her boundaries and entertaining the chemistry. That emotional shift isn't random. It's a tell, sign number 7. She confides in you about her marriage, but only slightly. She might not say outright that she's unhappy, but she drops subtle signals. She's tired a lot lately. She and her husband don't talk like they used to. She feels unseen. These are not just complaints. They're emotional invitations. She's letting you see the cracks in her foundation. Why? Because part of her is looking to emotionally bond with someone who sees her in a way her husband doesn't anymore. And if that's you, tread very carefully, because this is where emotional affairs begin, in confessions whispered through shared tension. Sign number 8. She tests your boundaries lightly but intentionally. She may tease you about being dangerous or trouble. She might joke, "You better stop looking at me like that on the surface, it sounds innocent." But there's a dance happening underneath. She's seeing how far she can go, how far you'll go without either of you crossing the line. It's a psychological push-pull, and it only happens when there's a hidden emotional investment that neither party wants to admit too soon. Sign number 9, she engages in mental role-play. Indirectly, she asks what, if questions, she imagines scenarios with you involved. She wonders aloud what you're like outside of the context you met. She might say, If I had met you years ago or in another life, maybe we'd be trouble. These are not throwaway remarks. They are guarded fantasies slipping through in coded form. She's letting you know that you've made her question what she thought was settled. Her life, her choices, her emotional boundaries. Sign number 10. You feel it in the silence. The energy changes without words. This is the most powerful sign of all, and the one that's hardest to explain. When she's near you, the air feels different. The silence isn't empty. It's charged. You sense her attention even when she's not speaking. There's a pulse in the space between you two. It's not overt. It's not physical, but it's there, the invisible thread of unspoken want. And once you feel that, you can't unfeel it. It's not just attraction, it's forbidden emotional gravity. Now that you've seen the signs, now that you understand how the silent language of attraction can unfold even in forbidden territory, you face a deeper question. One that most men never stop to ask themselves. What kind of man do you want to be when the opportunity is real, but the consequences are hidden? Because understanding attraction is not about exploitation. It's not about using what you know to manipulate, seduce, or destroy. It's about awareness, self, command, and restraint. When a married woman gives you those signs, when her eyes linger, when her voice softens, when her emotional barriers start to slip, it can feel intoxicating. It can feel like the ultimate validation, especially for a man who's felt overlooked, undervalued, or emotionally starved himself. It can tempt you to take the leap. But a Stoic man doesn't chase validation. He doesn't confuse temptation for purpose. He stands firm not because he's afraid to act, but because he has the strength not to. And here's the paradox of power. The more you understand the psychology of attraction, the less you need to act on it to feel powerful. Because real power is quiet. It's disciplined. It's when you can read the room, feel the heat, and walk away with your peace intact. If a married woman likes you, that doesn't make you weak. If you feel something in return that doesn't make you bad. But how you respond, that's what defines your character. Most men either fall blindly into the fantasy or deny what's right in front of them. But you're neither blind nor reckless. You are aware. And that's what separates the Stoic from the average man. So if you found value in this, if this opened your eyes to the emotional subtleties and hidden dynamics, women rarely say out loud, then this channel is for you. Because at Stoic Paradox, we don't deal in surface level advice. We go into the unspoken, the uncomfortable, the deeply real. Subscribe now if you haven't already, because the truths we share here aren't for everyone. They're for men who think deeper, feel sharper, and live wiser. And if you want the full psychological toolkit, the signs, the phrases, the mindset shifts that women are drawn to, even the ones who pretend they're not, then check out the rest of our videos. We're building clarity in a world full of confusion. Leave a comment below. Have you ever felt this kind of hidden energy with a woman who wasn't available? What did you do, or what did you wish you had done differently? Let's have that conversation, not for judgment, but for growth. Because men like you, we don't need easy answers. We need better questions. And that's exactly what this channel exists to ask. Stay sharp, stay grounded, and remember, just because something feels real doesn't mean it's right. Choose awareness over impulse always.